Your VI Talking Books library has it all. In Braille or audio formats, mailed to your door for free, some services are also available online. For more information, call the library at 340-718-2250.
How are you? Good. God bless. Thank you. And I'm sorry? Yeah, thank you. I was given an agenda, and it calls for background of the regional library, statistics of the disabled population, what the library needs to function on its optimal level, more staff, including a librarian, permanent location, technology, consistent internet, greater bandwidth, recording booth, status of grant 2016 Department of Interior Capital Improvement Program. So who's going to speak and lead the discussion on these issues?
Yes, we are going to speak. Yes. First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you. Good morning. My name is Cassandra.
Good afternoon. No, I will take the morning or the afternoon.
Every morning.
Yes.
First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
My name is Cassandra Paul.
Yes, Ms. Paul.
I am the chairperson of the group.
I'm listening.
Okay. So you're writing, so I'm just.
No, but I can't listen. No.
Okay. I'd like to say thank you for coming. And we formed the group 4 years ago because we enjoy the library.
Yes.
And we want the library to grow and for more people to know of the library. Because our biggest concern for the libraries, we were tired of people always asking about the library, not knowing of the library. And that is why we joined, and we wanted people to know of the library. Because as you can see, we have the talking books right in front of you.
Right.
So you can see what we're talking about.
Yeah, this is the card.
I'm passing it on to Eric Francis.
Good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Eric Antonio Francis. I'm the Vice Chair of the Consumer Advisory Council of Regional Library for the Blind and Physically Handicapped. I thank you for coming, Governor Kenneth Mapp, and the rest members. We have come together to deal with some very important issues that is affecting our library, our clients, and our community on a whole, whether they have a disability or not. If you will permit me to give a short introduction of how this nonprofit organization first got started with the intent of catering to our clients and our community, understanding that disability affects everyone, whether it's you, a family member, or a friend, or even a stranger. It is inclusive. The group was started on September 15, 2014 by Miss Letitia Gittins. She was the librarian. She's now retired, but she is an official member of the Consumer. She started the process for this reason is why the group is existed today. We also have 3 members that are not on this island because we wanted to make not just members for St. Croix, but including St. Thomas and St. John. The 2 members in St. Thomas are Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and the one in St. John is Mr. Penn. And those are the additional members. Ms. Garcia also is the secretary, but she has been excused from the meeting today.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Francis.
Welcome.
I can't help but notice how cool in here is, and I was glad for that. And unless I'm missing something, I didn't detect any musky or moldish odors. Is it maybe I'm I didn't get that sense when I came in, and it's very, very bright and well lit. And I know that after the hurricanes, we had some very difficult issues with it because it was almost being relocated to the downtown library. But it seems like DPNR got some good work done in terms of getting it back up and running. Is when it rains and everything, it's okay? You don't get water coming through here or anything like that?
No.
Yes,
Well,
we do.
I was told they have water coming from that side, but I was told.
So it comes in under the door?
Yeah.
Or because it comes from the east and it hits the door and it's the same level
Yes.
as outside? So you probably, is there room for an awning or something out there to protect the? There isn't. Okay, so I will speak with the commissioner about any other physical attributes that you may need here. I see on the list the question about the possibility of a permanent location. When you speak of a permanent location, what are you thinking about?
Well, what happened is we keep hearing that they want to move it to the basement in the Frederickstead Library, which is I live in Frederickstead,
Okay.
and that library, when it rains too much to the bottom line, how it floods.
Okay.
And then it's right across the street from the ocean.
Okay.
So you get a storm, you know what's gonna happen.
So, but did DPNR say they were going to move it there, or that we just heard
That's what you
that?
keep hearing all the time.
Oh, okay.
And then when it was closed down, when it was not reopened after the storm,
Mm-hmm.
I got a ride that came up, and there was nothing really wrong with this place.
Okay.
It had some wires in front of the doors and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But we were told that we ain't going to come in. The place wasn't opening back up, and that they're supposed to be relocated to the basement of that library down there, which I thought would have been an injustice for persons with disabilities, because I know the area down there. I wasn't blind all the time, okay? And the way they wanted to put it, we would have to deal with moisture issues, flooding issues, and things all the time. So
You like this location?
it is accessible for just about everybody.
Okay.
And I think that if we can keep this location or get a location equal to the accessibility like here,
Mm-hmm.
we don't mind moving. But they have to be accessible to everyone.
And dry when it's
Yeah,
in
exactly.
climate weather. Yes.
'Cause, we deal with a lot of technology. Like this is the player for the cartridges that we use to read the books.
The reader.
Now, if these things get wet, they're gonna stop working.
Do you have internet access here that's robust, that's good and dependable?
It's not. It comes and goes.
Okay, so that's a chance we can give
Yeah.
VINGN
Yeah, it comes and
to
goes.
come in and do some assessments, and BIT
Yeah, well, the
to
last-
come in and do some assessments and make sure that it's working well.
Right, but then the last time I checked, the speed here was only 6 megabits.
No,
Yeah.
don't. When we talk about VINGN and BIT, that's the government's platform, and you have to forgive me. I have to work with all of the stimulation that
Yeah.
I'm getting in part of this political process, and I heard a candidate for governor speak about VINGN, that it is competing with the ISPs. And of course that I wanted VIGN to provide the portal access to the government. Well, we only put in $135 million into it and built this very robust, powerful system that works with undersea cables and go directly to Miami and to New York. And its speed that we offer in VINGN is one gigabyte.
Okay.
So that you could appreciate that robust speed. But VINGN is what we call a middle mile platform. So we provide to the ISPs the highway in which they can bring their customers on board, and then they are supposed to build out their last miles into the neighborhood. Because of the disaster and some of the damages that VINGN got, we will be able to take those aerial systems in the neighborhoods and put them underground.
Okay.
But for the government, because it is our system, it doesn't seem, and I could be wrong, it won't be my first time. It seems if I spent $135 million to build a system, I shouldn't have to go and pay somebody monthly to get on the system I build,
I agree with
right? So that the government offices and the schools and the universities and the hospitals should be able to get on that platform directly and just pay a nominal fee to VINGN for the access and the upkeep and the maintenance of the system, so that if the hospital, if someone is in the main, let's say, getting care, and you have their x-rays or CAT scans and the hospitals here, they're able to transmit them to the States in no time because they can do it on a 1 gigabyte platform.
Yeah.
So I'm saying all of that to say that I'm going to have BIT and VINGN come and do an assessment of the library here. I'm going to call them myself, and then whatever we need to do to bring the capacity up here level that you have dependable service, we will make it happen. We don't need to go through 10,000 people to make that happen. If you're happy here and you just need the support system, then we will make sure we provide it for you. When you say the statistics of the disabled population in the territory, who could give me what some of those numbers are?
Well, when I did my research, I did my calculation for the local, the last 2010 census. It said, well, I did a final number of about 16,000.
Okay.
3,500 of that 16,000 was visually impaired.
Okay.
That's territory-wide.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then the rest was like, physically handicapped.
Yes.
And I was like, well, we need. When I saw that statistics, and knowing that the low number of clients that we have here at the library, I was saying we need to do more outreach.
Okay.
Because I didn't know of this library until I was visually impaired. I did not know. I passed this building.
And the
out
hours of this library are what?
8 to 5.
Okay, so it's open early in the morning till 5 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will discuss that with Commissioner Henry
Yeah, we need to
of
do
what
more.
we need to do in terms, and we can put PSAs out advising the population that this library exists for folks that are hearing impaired and disabled, and that they can come
Yeah,
and find access.
We can do some commercials if we get.
Yeah, we'll
we have-
get that done.
No, well,
We
we
did
have
that.
we have somebody that
Hold on. We did one on our own.
Uh-huh.
We did one,
our group did one.
and we had it shown, and we thank the group for sponsoring it and putting it on the radio, on the television station for us.
All right, well, I'll have her and her team revisit that, and we can put that up. When you say more staff, including a librarian, who's working here with Sunny?
Nina.
Nina does, yeah.
Nina, come.
They have two individuals with disabilities, and they rotate a librarian from
Okay.
Christianstown to work up to 3 hours a day.
And what does this library need in terms of staffing?
They need a permanent librarian.
Okay.
They need and one other aide. They need 2
Yeah.
individuals, is what they said.
Okay,
Because before we had Ms. Gittins and Ms. Fred,
Yeah,
okay.
along with Sandy and Nina.
yeah.
This is
That's Ms. Garcia.
Ms. Garcia?
She's
Good afternoon, good afternoon. How are you? Good,
And
good.
what Ms. Garcia does is actually download the books on the cartridges for the clients, and they were supposed to provide you with a demonstration, and at the speeds that they have now, it takes her very long to download.
Yeah, if you're
And-
doing 16 megabytes, you're not gonna.
and,
6.
6,
Okay.
and she was using her own personal
Laptop.
laptop to be able to download, to continue to provide the
Okay.
clients with the books, but so that's the need for the great.
And the hardware to be able to do that, do you have sufficient supplies of the hardware?
Nina?
See, this particular library is under the National Library Services,
Okay.
so they support all the materials.
Okay.
So, like Jamila said, I download the books, and our catalog system is on it online.
Uh-huh.
So without proper internet speed,
You can do it.
no, because put it this way, considering our catalogs online, there are times now that it will go, we will be on, Sunny and I, and then 5 minutes later, you're not on.
Okay.
And because it's live and it's running, the bandwidth has to be strong.
Okay.
Before hurricane, I understand, where we are is because of the storm, but I've downloaded, at times I would download 21 books
Uh-huh.
in one day before the afternoon,
Okay.
and I can't do that now.
Right. I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna send the Bureau of Information Technology and the folks from VING in, so you'll be able, I don't wanna get myself in trouble, but you'll be able to do more than 40 books a day. Easy. All right? I'm gonna fix that. That's an easy fix.
Well, can I, because one of the things that National Library wants to help us do is called on demand.
Okay.
Basically, it would really work well in this library for Sunny and me because we're physically handicapped. So when an able body is not here and the client wants a book, I eventually, when they show us how to do it, I can press a button and tell the catalog to download, say, 6 books on a cartridge. But in order to do that, you need good speed.
Yes. And reliable speed and bandwidth.
Yes.
Yes. I'm gonna fix that. That's an easy fix.
Thank you, Nina.
You're welcome.
Okay, Governor. This is the cartridge.
Okay.
And the book goes on. What Nina does is there's a blank cartridge that she downloads and she plugs it into her computer and loads the books onto the one cartridge, right? It goes into player like here. You turn it on.
Player on. Battery charge remaining 27 hours.
Garvey's Choice by Nikki Grimes, DB 86925.
That's the number of the book.
Copyright 2016 by Nikki Grimes. Read by Joe Peck.
Okay.
This book contains 108 pages. Approximate reading time 55 minutes.
You can speed it up.
This book contains markers allowing direct access to the contents, poems, supplement, and acknowledgments.
You can jump
Library
forward.
of Congress annotation. Novel.
Volume up.
Garvey's Choice.
Current 20 seconds.
Music and math and learning about outer space.
You can jump
But
back and
Dad
forward
wants
within the
Garvey
book.
to be a jock.
Stuff like that.
He wants.
So you can speed it up.
And you have enough readers?
Well, the readers and everything is supplied by Library of Congress. They ship them
Okay.
in. So I think we just had a shipment in a couple of months ago,
We
Nina.
had one box of DS1s, one box of DA1s, and we ended up getting 2 of them. So yes, there's a whole bunch.
So they're pretty much up to date.
Yeah.
Well,
20 seconds. 1 minute.
Okay.
I've been on it from
Garvey's
1976.
choice.
And
Battery charge remaining.
and the startup and the brief and St. Thomas. They had it in St. Thomas. St. Thomas refused it and bring it over here. So we get it and the army, well how come you're going to have a library, and that's in Dollars. Because in Dollars, they have no place to put it. So they bring it over here, they had it in Queensland, and they were going to bring it, and they move it, and fix it over the legislation showers. After Hurricane Hugo, the movers of the Francis, and that is 27 years of working here. The movie went on, I get to see
Aren't you here?
yeah,
Okay.
years. Yeah,
And so you've been here since?
since.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the library is working out?
I'm working out there, beautiful.
Well, I'm going to get you the additional staffing that you're asking for.
Okay, good.
I want to discuss with you and bring you up to date on some good news, because we have to make some continuing decisions. As you know, obviously, we got impacted badly by the storms, but the federal government, the national government, have been tremendously supportive. And in the Virgin Islands, HUD says that to me that we are negative 2,500 housing units of where we should be in terms of access to homes and living facilities for folks. So whenever there's a disaster, then the problem with finding adequate shelter for folks after becomes even more difficult, because you don't have enough homes, and then when homes are damaged, then there's very little place for people to go to have permanent shelter or rent. And so in the monies that HUD has provided to the government, which we call our discretionary money, they provided $1.8 billion. And I've agreed that I'm going to invest about 250 to 275 million of that 1.8 billion directly into all sorts of housing needs. So one of the things I would be very interested in is how can we make sure as we build new homes and new housing stock that we're preparing housing stock that is compatible and necessary for members of the community who have disabilities, because we just can't build, we don't want to just say we're building, just building homes to say we're building homes, but we have to build for all segments of the community. As an example, as some of you may know, I have been my mother's caregiver for, I think, more than 7-8 years now. I don't really count the years, but it's certainly a good number of years before I was governor. And when I started taking care of my mom, I thought I was kind of losing, the stress was so high, I thought I was kind of, I don't want to use the word, but this is the easiest way to say it, I was losing my mind, because my mom was in the beginning stages of Alzheimer's, and trying to cope with that and help her was difficult. And my minister said to me, you need to join the caregiver support group at the Department of Human Services. And I just thought it was another 12-step program. I would go to Human Service in the meeting, and people would say, my name is Kenneth Mapp, I take care of my mom is struggling with Alzheimer's, and I wasn't going to get much out of it. But to my shock, two things happened. It proved to be tremendously helpful to me, because I met a lot of folks who were taking care of family members who were struggling with Alzheimer's, dementias, and all kinds of illnesses and disabilities. But what I also saw was the amount of people that are trying to take care of their family members in their home and making a very great effort of doing that, but don't have the kind of support systems. And when the family member at home ages and requires more medical need and daily care, there's no place to go, because Herbert Grigg only have 30 beds, and CVO Queen Louise Home only have about 30 beds. So in this, since the storm and with all this money to provide housing, we made I set aside a plan to put about 75, and it may be more, but $75 million in modernizing Herbert Grigg and modernizing, what we're going to do is acquire Seaview, close Queen Louise Home for the aged in St. Thomas. And then Herbert Grigg has 12 acres of land, and Seaview has 6 acres of land. So what we want to do is we're going to create campuses on both sites. And we're going to put on one segment, independent apartment living facilities or homes where seniors can live and live independently and entertain their family and friends. That not necessarily the home is a little bit more easier for them. No, you have the bathtubs, you have wider doors, you got to make sure you have ADA bathrooms, very useful and compatible kitchens, so that folks that are aging that can live independently can do that without a lot of stress in the type of facility they're in. And then we want to build on the campus assisted living facilities where people will come in daily and make sure that people are getting access to their medications, if they need some light cleaning in the home, if they need some light hygiene help and support, and making sure they're getting their meals and they're being cared for and somebody's paying attention and supporting them. And then we want to move the number of beds for in-living facilities like Herbert Grigg and Queen Louise Home for the Aged is doing now from about the 30 or 40 to about 80, and then construct a complete physical therapy facility on these campuses where physical therapists can come and provide the kind of support that seniors will have walking trails. They can go outside, they can get some exercise, they can come into the physical therapy building. There'll be like a gym there, but folks there to support seniors in terms of doing their exercise and getting some mobility up. And SOHAT has approved that. And next week, when I go to Washington, I'm getting the first $250 million from the $1.8 billion. And in that 250, it includes $15 million to start the planning and development of the modernization of Herbert Grigg and the acquisition of Seaview and the plans for what will happen on that property there, and then on what will happen on the next property. In November, the end of November, I will get the remaining $60 million so that we can now go to construction and to build out these facilities. And we're putting a proposal out through property and procurement for an entity that can come in and help us do the program design and be able to manage these facilities, because on the US mainland, that's really where we're going with senior living facilities. We're making them sort of campuses so that you can care for an aging population, but that aging population has complete access to their families and their friends and the needs that they have and their ability to go outside and to be able to live a normal life. Now, the question that I have is that I haven't seen a lot of information yet, and we're working through the Virgin Islands Housing Finance Authority and the Virgin Islands Housing Authority in terms of the amount of stock that we need to provide for folks who have disabilities, that we're providing and not putting everybody with disabilities in the same place. We don't want to do that. We want to be able to we want to have what we call in education a society of inclusion, so that if you have, let's say, housing stock and it's in Carambola and the government is supporting putting it there, that folks that have disabilities can have homes that they can live in there as well. If you're doing it apartments at Herbert Grigg or on the site for Queen Louise, Seaview in St. Thomas, there are units there that can house folks that have disabilities as well. So I just want to let you know that, because we want to make sure that we're providing stock and housing support for all of the community members in terms of segments of the community member who have specific needs that we need to address as we build out and modernize our housing community stock. So if there are any questions with regard to that, I'm certainly open to them.
I have
Yes.
a question. First of all, thank you for mentioning that about persons with disabilities. Okay, because I've listened to everybody within the campaign and even before the campaign, and I have not yet heard anybody speak about persons with disabilities. They talk about seniors. I'm not a senior. I'm 48 years old. I'm visually impaired or blind.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go to try to get services, oh, but you're not a senior. You're not this. You gotta be. It look like you have to be 60-something years old to get anything. You know, and that's my problem. You know, so I thank you so much for mentioning the fact that you're going to try to build housing for persons with disabilities, because, and especially when you go to housing, they want to stick you up in a flamboyant or, you know, some old people home. You know, I don't want to be around no heap of old people like that. I'm still young.
Well, nothing wrong with us
You
old
know?
people.
No. I'm not saying something wrong with it, but you know, you're a young person. You don't want to be outside and say, next thing you go, you know, you stand up outside and grandma say, "Oh, hi, Sonny, how you doing this month?" You know, come on, you know, you're still young. You want to be around your own people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then, not getting off the subject too much, we have issues getting health insurance for persons with disabilities that are like 62 and under. You know, all I have is Medicare.
Right.
Because I make about 16,000, I can't even get Medicaid. You know, in order for me to get Medicaid, you gotta up.
No. You're 48. You can get Medicaid because I changed the.
Yeah, but the poverty level for me would have to be above 16,000. Otherwise, they tell me I went to apply. They don't run me out of the place already.
So they're saying that you're 16,000. You're how much over the?
I'm like, what they say is 11,000.
No, I moved it. It's now the new number was 15,777, and then there's a calculation that you can go X percentage over that number, like if you have disabilities and other things like that. When was the last time you were there?
Like about a year ago.
No. Could you take his information?
Yeah,
Call Commissioner Blyden, because you need to probably reapply. You probably, when we changed the Medicaid applications, there were 21,000 people on Medicaid. When I changed the income guidelines, because that was something I could do, there was a bit of pushback because at that time, the government had to put a 45% match in the cost of the Medicaid program, and I had advisors arguing with me that we don't have sufficient money to meet our match. So when you expand the program and bring more people on board, we're not going to have the money for that. And my argument with them was, we have to pay it anyway, because those are called the uncompensated care costs that when a person without Medicaid or any insurance go into the hospital can't tell them, "I'm not going to treat you." So the hospital treat them and then end up with this number of people who have been provided care that weren't able to pay for it, and then every 4 or 5 years the government float a bond and give the hospital the money to pay their light bills to cover those numbers.
Yeah, because what happened is I'm a diabetic.
Yes.
So I use the pens.
So
now I have the Medicare RX plan from AARP, but it only covers me like 6 months out of the year. And
no, I think you qualify because
afterwards, one box of those pens cost me almost $300.
Right. But
so you know the shape I'm in.
Yeah, because when we made the change, 19,000 additional people went on the Medicaid program when we made the change. Now we don't. The government of Vernon doesn't have a cost share for the next 2 years as a result of the storms. Congress has agreed for the federal government to take over 100% of the cost of the Medicaid program. So they're carrying it now. So let's get that information, and then Jamila, you need to follow up and tell me the result of it. But if you're at 16,000, you're really at the line, and then there are 2 or 3 provisions that allow you to go over that number, and certainly having a disability is one of them. So you may find that you actually now qualify for the program. So let's follow that up with Human Services, please. Yes.
I have a problem. And I tell my niece about it. He had a lot of government asking fish. Like I said, you got happy up here. The commissioner of Human Services. I can't get up there. I can't get up there if I want to see your commissioner. Your auspices for the commission, and then I keep
We're going to get them out of that office. The plan is we have a lot of land in Annis Hope.
Yeah.
We're going to actually build a new human services department there, and that building will be 100% ADA compliant.
And
But
I just did that. I can't get into the banner like I want to.
we know that.
And I saw thing. Where there's a behind paper. Your office is unfriendly.
They're inaccessible.
They're unfriendly to disabled.
Yes.
I want to be able to, you know me, I'm very independent. You want nobody opening the door for me. When I go in the street, nobody don't open the door for me. I just walk up and the door open.
Right.
To me, cash and me bagging. To me, cash, these two doors be friendly to me. Because you know why? I walk here. I want to feel comfortable. I want to feel independent.
You want to be independent?
Coming to work.
Yes.
Because I'm independent already. I want to go to a place. You want to wait for somebody to open it up for me? No. And that is the biggest problem the government has today. And friendly affiliates.
Yeah.
Right now. I ain't thought with you either. It's that with the former governor and the governor before you and the governor. Now how come they don't let me? Because I stand up for the disabled and the elderly. That is not two. These are not two babies. But how you measure them there, you measure with me. You know?
Well, I appreciate that.
Now
And as we try to get out of rental properties and get into our own, we know we have to modernize our building and our facilities because, they're bad.
I would like to get a regional library building top.
Yeah.
And if you had 200 packages, build a library for packages and the regional library together.
There's a lot right over there. Popular and
That's the Department of Justice building site.
yeah, that lot.
We had $4.8 million when Governor Turnbull was in office was set aside to build a new Department of Justice building, and of course Governor Turnbull's term ended before the building started, and the administration after that transferred that money to another project, and so that's still there. But the plan is to get the Department of Justice back to that site and build it in a complete modern way. We have a lot of work to do. There's no question about that. We have a long way to go, but we're gonna make progress. And the issues that you have raised here with me today, I'm going to take them back to my office, and I'm going to deal with them immediately. And those issues are, one, your internet service here, which is not stable and robust enough. We're going to have that clearly resolved. I will speak with Commissioner Henry in terms of providing the additional staffing that you require. I'm going to see what we can do to keep the water from coming under the door here on the east side of the facility. We're going to work on getting more robust ads out so that people know that this library exists and folks with disabilities can come. We're going to follow up and see if you are qualified under the new Medicaid guidelines. If that's going to be able to, I think you are, based on what I know of the system.
And Governor,
Yes.
about long time ago, 20 years ago, we had two policies working with the government, and their duty is outreach. Go there, look for the disabled, look for the elderly, and try to bring them into the library. But the town board done away with it. Governor thing and pick it up. We need somebody working in Shindanas and Shindan for pulling Shindanas disabled into the library because even though the library is required, if anybody in Ireland, if it is in Shindanas, I want it to, I'll be using it. And that is the biggest problem. We need our beach in Shindanas and Shindan to the library we go.
One thing I'd like to share with you. One of the goals for this group, this organization. One of the goals for this organization is to have a recording booth.
Your recording booths.
Recording booth.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
To
we're
record
having.
local artists.
Yes, we're having books, tapes from authors from all over the world. But I want the world to know about our authors. I want the world to know about Mario. Right now the UVI has just started a cookbook. I want people to know about my Johnny cake, my fish, my
Meaning you want to find out how you can get the local books that are produced in the Virgin Islands, how you can get them on recordings so that others can share them and have access to them.
Exactly.
Right.
As I said, we have started the process. We have our nonprofit certificate.
Mhm.
We started that. So we're willing to do outreach and fundraising so we can start our booth and have our booth located in here.
Okay.
And that's what our concern was, to move our group forward. And is the library still going to be here? That's what our concern.
I have no word that the library is moving from here. When there were issues with getting the library restored and reopened after the storms, I spoke with Commissioner Henry, and I don't recall. That's many moons ago. I spoke with her to get this place up, running, and reopened, but I don't recall us talking about relocating it. We know that the buildings that we are in here at Vaitraca Mall and the building to the north of me with Human Services, they're really bad buildings, structurally bad in terms of, how do you protect the stuff that you have inside. But other than looking for permanent homes and how we're going to set up permanent homes in other facilities, whether we're building them from scratch or we're getting them someplace else, that's what I know we plan to do, but not to close this library and then go down to the Dorsch Library or the Center, the Atherley McFarlane Library in Frederickstead, and say, okay, put folks in the basement.
Because we were hurt in December when the place was closed. A trailer was brought in here, and the cartridge and everything was taken out.
Mhm.
And we were like, this was our lifeblood after the hurricane for us to deal with, and for it to be closed in December.
But we got
did
through
not
that,
know.
and we got it open and
So-
functioning. So,
Yeah,
just-
let me just give you an idea, Governor Mapp. We had barely any radio stations available, and of course no TV, nothing like that. So the books was our entertainment. So what I survived off of was books I had for months
Mhm.
that I keep rereading and rereading
Okay.
and rereading because I couldn't come in to get new books. So I mean, it was like kind of like a little bit of torture because you couldn't change your books.
it was only 2 Category 5 hurricanes.
But yeah, I understand that, but
And I say it not to be funny, I say it because I really want people to put it in perspective, because really and truly in the seat I sit in, and I asked to sit in the seat and I like the seat, I get it back belly and side. So I mean, I
but
go
Governor,
through.
Take it from the blind man. I was here for Hugo,
Hmm.
and you brought this place back faster than 28 years ago.
Yes,
Okay?
thank
So,
you.
I will give Jackie jacket. If you was somebody that used to BS people, I'll tell you to your face that you're the BS artist. But I see that you are a man of your word and you do what you say you're going to do, you get stuff done.
That's the way to be.
You ain't a joker like them others. And who trying to come?
Remember we said we're gonna be nice.
Other people that used to come and promise you this, promise you that, get nothing.
Yeah. But I'm assuring you that these things we're going to be able to take care of, and we want to get to a better place and a better day. But we're not marginalizing the library. We're not going to close it down and just put it off in some dark side. We're going to make it more robust and make sure that others know it exists, so they can certainly enjoy the benefits that are here. So I want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity.
Okay. She would like to just introduce you to who's here.
The
Okay.
members of
The
the
members.
Sure,
Consumer
sure,
Advisory
sure.
Sorry.
Council.
Say your name.
Starting Eric Antonio Francis, Vice Chair.
Okay.
Miss Powell.
Howell?
Miss Powell.
Okay.
Miss Powell.
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 Powell. Okay.
Katrina Jeffers,
Ms. Jeffers?
part of the group.
Okay. Pastor of the group?
Part.
Part of the group. Well, the group might need a little pastor too, you know.
Cassandra Paul.
Yes, I have Miss Paul, the chairperson.
And my name is Gerard Evelyn. They call me the mouthpiece.
Evelyn?
Yes. Evelyn is my last name.
Yes, Gerard.
From
There are
Barbados.
also
Now let me ask you a question. Do you call your family, do you have family in St. Thomas and they call themselves Eveling?
Same. No, it's not my family, but, well, I don't know if they're my
Because they spell the same way.
Yeah, Evelyn.
But over here it's Evelyn and over there it's Eveling.
Well, I just say, just call me whatever you want, don't call me late for dinner.
All right, okay.
and also Governor Mapp. There are other members that are not present.
Mhm.
Sylvia Florent
Okay,
and Beverly Benjamin. Like I mentioned,
And Miss Garcia.
And Miss
Miss
Garcia.
Wendy Garcia,
mm-hmm.
Miss Letitia Gittins,
And then the two
Mr.
from
and Mrs. Smith from St. Thomas,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Penn.
and Mr. Penn
Okay.
from St. John.
For the
Ah.
grant.
Okay.
And my office is open to you. You know, if you have any needs or so, Ms. Russell here is one of the folks that you can contact, my staff, to any support or any help that you need. Jamila is available.
Right, and before you go, this library serves St. Croix.
One second, please. Go ahead.
This library serves St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John, Water Island, and also the BVI.
Okay,
This is a regional library. They ship out these books to all the different islands.
okay,
So this is, you could say, the hub for the NLS, okay? And the headquarters.
mhm.
You know, so the aim really that you have to put one over there, you know, they already serving the entire.
And you
world.
get good internet access, then that makes it easier.
It makes it even easier.
Okay. We had a question on this end.
Miss Powell, yes.
Ms. Powell?
Can I ask you something about housing?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm living at Joseph E. James Terrace.
You're living at?
Joseph E. James Terrace.
Okay,
And since the hurricane, the building stood up very well. No water, nothing I really get. But I asked the manager, I said, nobody come and check the roof to see if they can withstand another storm. But last week, 3 men came instead of around 3, no. But the place need fixing because I had 2 steel doors, one to the back and one to the front. And before the hurricane, they were falling off.
okay.
They had to open. So I don't know when they can get to that point of fixing anything.
Well, what I will ask Mr. Darrell Griffith, he's the executive director of the Housing Finance Authority, and they're our point person with the STEP program. Let me just ask this question. Did you register for anything for FEMA and ended up with a FEMA number?
You mean?
Yes.
No,
Now, do you know if anyone there at that facility may have done that?
I believe so.
Okay, because as long as there's a FEMA registration number there, then we can figure out how to get the STEP program in there. But this is the Joseph James.
Yes. That they usually call Ruby.
Oh,
You know,
where is this located?
By Island Center.
Like
or,
across the street from-
Right across the street.
yes.
Oh, okay. Those homes look like they stood up very well.
Very well. I didn't even get water, thank God.
Yeah, yeah.
But some people got water.
Right.
But God was on my side.
All right.
And I'm so thankful.
All right. I'll add that to my list. Okay.
Jamila's saying this. The last item is saying the status of the grant of the 2016 interior. That has to go through DPNR.
Yeah, Miss Smith. No, it's DPNR. Miss Pinney can speak to that.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I am Mrs. Arnie and Pinney-Benjamin, the acting territorial director. Ms. Jamila Russell did ask me about that. How the CIP projects are set up, they have to go, there's a, I think all government agencies, all departments, Public Works is the one that actually work on the projects for us. So we have already went through, in March, I think it is, after the hurricane, we did a assessment of every single facility under DLAM, including here, and we actually wrote down the different things that we need to do based on the guidelines that said there. So we're actually waiting for Public Works to actually follow up. In fact, I reach out to them ever so often, and they say they work on the electrical component of all the projects at this time. But please be assured that whatever, because it's a federal project, whatever we have said that we are going to use the funds for, we cannot use it for anything else.
Unless we ask for a petition of change.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we have not done that.
Right.
So the aluminum shelving coming here.
What's not coming here?
It will be coming here, the aluminum shelving.
Okay.
They received a $105,000 grant to replace the bookshelves to aluminum shelving.
Okay. Yes.
And so
To take care of the
Yes.
to take care of it, yes.
No, they don't change the grant monies used when we get them designated and approved. We would have to go through a whole recycle of submitting and changing and justifying, and so we have not tried to
We
make
haven't
any.
heard anything, and just wondering about the time from 20.
I don't have an answer on the time, and I'm just going to tell you that only because I have so many different grants and things that are being. Meaning I don't know off the top of my head. I'll have to find out from Public Works, because there's so many different grant and draws of money that's coming from so many pockets now. Okay. And trying to make sure that we are not going to send the money back. You could be assured of that. But I would have to find out when this particular project, where it is in the schedule under the issues of Public Works, because I don't know off the top of my head.
No problem.
Okay?
Thank you. I appreciate you checking.
I want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to come and speak with you. And again, I apologize. Former Senator Douglas Canton is here. How are you, sir?
Good, sir.
Thank you.
And he's a advisor, informal helper for the council.
Okay, for the council. Very good.
From the Bible to 50 Shades of Grey, cookbooks, mystery novels, and science fiction, your VI Talking Books library has it all.
In Braille or audio formats, mailed to your door for free, some services are also available online. For more information, call the library at 340-718-2250. 340-718-2250.